106.7 Lite FM.
106.7 Lite FM. Cubby and Christine in the morning, and our resident doctor is in town.
Yes, he is.
Dr. Oz is here. Welcome, Dr. Oz.
It's always an honor to be invited.
It's great to see you and kicking off a whole new season. Been watching your shows.
Who would have thought?
11 years later.
Yeah.
They said it would never work. That was actually Cubby who said that.
I did. I said, "Are you crazy?"
It's not gonna
We're still all together.
They're talent.
Yeah, season 11. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a blessing. I'm so much more comfortable in my own skin making the show now.
Yeah.
I used to get so worked up. I was, we get scripts ahead of time, and you have to, book your guests and get into their stories. But I'm so much better able to focus on what really matters to the audience.
Yeah.
Because the beginning, it's the beginning of medicine too. You have hundreds of things that seem to be wrong with somebody, but what's the real problem that's bringing them to you? And that's the beauty of having a little experience. But you guys do it so beautifully here.
Well,
We try.
we're in our comfort zone, but they can't, you had stage fright for a little while.
It wasn't even stage fright. I mean, that's part of it. But, I was used to dealing with pressure because I do heart surgery.
Right,
So I don't mind
yeah.
the lights being on me.
Uh-huh.
It was losing the forest for the trees. You sort of examine every little bit, every nuance of every interview, and then you get caught up in your own head, and then you don't actually ask the questions in a way. You ask the right question, but you don't ask it in the right way. And so energetically, there's a drain. I'll give you the biggest lesson of all is the power of silence. That was painful, wasn't
Right?
it?
Right?
But you all know that.
That was like a second and a half.
I know, it was
We're
that.
holding.
But that
Yes.
little bit of pause
Right.
gives people little space, but more importantly, it puts intense pressure on them to tell the truth.
Wow.
And when you're shouting at each other and barking over each other, you can sort of one-line your way through anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if you give people a little bit of room, then they have to come to grips with that space, and that's truth.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to use that in our interviews. from now on.
Exactly.
Dead air.
Yeah, dead air. And our ratings go up. Dude, the more dead air you do, the higher the ratings.
Oh, what does that say?
What does that say about you?
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. All right, so today, I'm looking at the calendar here. You got a busy week. It's October 1st, and it's all about true crime these days. And
True crime, I'll tell you, part of the reason I actually had Dr. Phil on the show. And we were talking about why true crime works, and we do it very differently. He's much more hard ass about it, and I'm much more about what went wrong. Like what was going through your head when you did that? Are you sick?
Right.
How would you recover from it? And we were both talking about the fact that people adore true crime. I personally like it as well, and I think it's because we're used to seeing good stuff. We look for it, but we don't pay attention to the bad stuff, and if without watching the bad stuff, it starts to invade the good stuff. And that's why I'm deputizing my audience this year. I'm asking you, listen, you guys, you can go out there, whether it's food fraud, which is the number one way we steal money from people, is 80% of the fish is foreign, and a lot of it's fraudulent. When you pay for it, you're not really getting what you pay for, so that's stolen from you. So food fraud, criminal activities. R. Kelly's on the show today. He's a guy who's an iconic singer, very talented, and made a lot of money doing it, who's so bankrupt he can't bail himself out of jail anymore.
crazy.
But you want to understand what went wrong.
Right.
How did that even happen? Forget that it did happen. That explained to me so that I don't go through that, because I don't want to have that happen to me. And that's what true crime is fundamentally attracting people to. They don't want to be the person. They want to get the warning signs ahead of time.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's also good to see other people having problems when you don't have the problems. It's like, better them than me.
Yeah, but see, that's what that's the debate I was having with Phil, actually. There's a voyeuristic element to this.
Right.
And yes, thank goodness it's their issue, not mine. That's true for horror films. But true crime, the genre itself, primarily works because people are fascinated with evil. They really want to understand it.
Does that make us all dark? Are we all dark inside?
This is such a profound question. No, seriously, I actually think that we don't really appreciate our power unless we realize the evil we could do.
Wow.
There's a great friend of mine, his name's Jordan Peterson. He's a controversial guy, but I think he's brilliant. And Jordan says, never give your kids a reason for you to hate them. Interesting thing. Let's say it again. Never give don't let your kids give you a reason to hate them. And the reason for that is you can do really bad things to your kids. And a good parent realizes they have that power, and they're very careful never to let it happen.
Yeah.
Because if you're sloppy with your power, it can cause problems. There's a verse in the Bible, the meek shall inherit the earth.
Yes.
Did that ever bother you? I would always say, why do the meek people, the weak people, get to inherit the earth? That's not really true. Weakness doesn't usually win. And then I was educated very recently that the word meek doesn't mean weak.
What does it mean?
Meek means people who have a sword, a sharp sword, who keep it sheathed, keep it covered.
Wow.
Why does that mean? It means I have the ability to fight and cause badness,
Right.
but I don't.
Right.
I have the power, I don't use it. That's why the meek inherit the earth. Because although they could create hell and raise the rafters, they don't. They decide, they elect not to, even though they had the ability to.
Preach, Dr. Oz.
Yes.
Preach.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yeah. You know, God was also a big baseball fan because
Yes.
in the Bible it says, in the beginning.
Gosh, terrible.
First line in the Bible.
Christine, how you doing?
In
How
the
you doing with
beginning.
this?
You know,
I haven't had a good
we
dad
love
joke in about
him.
two
We
weeks.
love him. That's right.
All right.
And Dr. Oz,
Priceless.
you do know that Cubby's got to work on his dad jokes because he's officially going to be a dad.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
So good. No, I didn't hear. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
You actually sent me an email.
I did?
Yeah.
When did I send the
We're
email?
all a little
You
busy.
did.
Oh, shoot, she did. No, she
It
did.
came from Cheryl.
No. She sent it to me. No, I reflexively did it. I didn't pay attention to
Right.
it. What did you make me do?
No, at the end of January.
Oh, it's so good. You're such a good father.
You actually said,
He's
I have it
gonna
right
be
here.
wonderful,
You said,
yeah.
you know, being a parent is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And it fired me up. I appreciate that. I know you're a busy man. You're sending emails left and right.
It was the best thing that ever happened. Well, best thing that ever happened to me was marrying my wife, Lisa. But having the kids is a unique experience. Changed everything, and it gives you continuous purpose for the rest of your life.
Right.
Congratulations.
I'm a little worried though. I'm late in life. You know, I've been telling everyone this, but
Yeah.
I'm 48 years old, and I'm thinking I'm having my first kid at 48. You know, I'm gonna be 60 when the kid's only 12. Like I'm having it late in life, and I'm kind of worried about that. Like, can I keep up with this? But kind of thought I'd be a little younger when it happened. But anyway, I think everyone has their timing.
Well,
and
think of it the inverse of that. What if you'd never had a child because you said, I'm 48, it's too late. I don't want to be 60 when he's 12.
Right.
What a mistake that would be.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
you're
I
right.
also think your life expectancy, because you're healthy, is 90. Let's say 90 in that range.
Look at me. It's not 90.
No, I say that in that range. So that means your child's going to be 42 years old, right?
Aw, see?
When you pass.
Oh, right. Okay.
So you're going to have grandkids, and he'll be dealing with those grandkids, and you'll be saying, "Don't wait till 48."
Right. You're right. All right. Well, amen.
Cubby's got like the best energy, so
Well, thank you.
he's good. This whole story out of the Dominican Republic where people were going to the resorts, dying, getting sick. Are you on the case of that?
Well, this tainted alcohol story, which we're going to talk about on tomorrow's program, is really a concern to me because, first of all, the resorts don't realize it's happening. I
Yeah.
really don't. I really think that they are innocently involved, but nevertheless, there's a cover-up happening because they don't want their tourism industry shut down because people are dying of tainted alcohol. But here's the story: alcohol is expensive. You can make cheap alcohol, grain alcohol, or rubbing alcohol, or methanol, right? You can put cheap replacements, and unscrupulous people do that because they're stealing your money. So in addition to stealing your money, they'll steal your health because they don't care.
Yes. Wow.
Once that's in the supply of the hotel, the alcohol gets into your mini bar, or you go downstairs and get whatever you're ordering, and when that methanol gets into your drink, you can't taste it because it's inert.
Uh-huh.
And now you're dying from this, and we're not able to figure it out. That's why if you're going to go to one of those resorts,
Wow.
make sure the bottle is open in front of you, so you know that it's a fresh bottle.
Yeah.
Or drink beer. Your
yeah,
choice.
Yeah, because
Right.
these folks, they were drinking out of the minibar in their hotel rooms, right?
Yeah, but they crack open the minibar bottle. They reuse the bottles. They get the bottles out of the trash and put cheap stuff in there,
my
then
goodness.
seal it like it's new. But I can't even get the legitimate autopsy reports on some of these folks. And these kids, it's usually it's their parents have passed or their kids have passed. The relatives come to the show and say we can't get any data. And so we're putting a lot of pressure on these different countries who are dependent on tourism to crack down, but they're telling us it's hard. They've got organized crime syndicates that are very good at cheating people out of their money.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it's really
Wow.
crazy. You're having our buddy Elvis Duran on the show on Wednesday.
Elvis is special.
Yeah.
You guys work with him. He's a unique human being, and he's emotional in the show, but as only Elvis can be. I mean, the laughter is the shortest distance between two people.
Yeah.
And he's really good at keeping that distance short. But he's very soulful about the fact that he took his life back. He was losing it to obesity. And 3.5 years ago, he said, I'm not doing it anymore. And he went and had surgery, which I
Right.
think is the most underperformed operation in America is bariatric surgery, without question. We probably do 1% of what we should do. It's so effective for so many people, but it's not easy. And Elvis speaks to the fact there's needles and there's testing and there's complications that can happen. And if you're not meticulous about your relationship with food, you'll fall right back into the same old habits. You can drink milkshakes every day and gain all the weight you would have otherwise lost.
Really?
Wow.
And he's so good at telling that story. As you guys have probably found this in your own careers, right? People who have been there have
Yes.
deeper insights.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
That's why I love talking to people who had addiction issues, because they teach you about the depth of our experience.
Elvis got
Right.
the sleeve done, right?
Said sleeve.
And I know you get this question all the time. The difference between the sleeve and there's the balloon thing too, right? The balloon's different, right? The balloon is what?
So there's a whole bunch of different ones, but let me break it down.
Give me the two most common ones.
Well, the most common ones are the sleeve, which Elvis had, and there's a wrap that you put around the top of the heart. It's called the balloon sometimes, but it's a little it's a ring that's closes off the top of the stomach, so it reduces the amount of food you can eat.
And then the balloon will burst
But there's actually a balloon you put inside the stomach.
or inside the stomach. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yes, exactly. And that one is really popular now because it only lasts 3 months. And it's
Oh.
reversible completely. And it has to be reversed. It's not going to stay there forever.
Right.
But it jumpstarts your weight loss. So let's say you're 50 pounds overweight, right? You put the balloon in, over 3 pounds, you'll lose 30, 40, 50 pounds. Now your new weight's where you want it to be. Now it's just a matter of keeping your weight.
Right. You can still mess it up.
You can still mess it up.
Yeah.
But once the balloon comes out, maybe you'll take, first of all, maybe you won't gain the weight back. But if you do gain it back, it could take 2-3 years to gain back. Mm-hmm. But nothing has been done permanently to your stomach.
Wow.
Very cool.
Cubby, I know we're wrapping. There's just one headline that's got me here that I want to ask Dr. Oz about, and that's, could chicken actually be causing cancer? What? That's a little scary.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll share the insight on this. The whole show on Thursday is based on that. And I've got,
Okay.
Vanessa Williams is coming on, by the way. And Vanessa is part of the Dish crew now. She's cooking on Wednesdays with my daughter Daphne and
Nice.
some other great chefs. But the chicken story, I think, is less about the chicken, even though all the headlines said chicken's causing cancer. And it's more
Yeah.
about how you cook the chicken.
Okay.
If you fry it up, if you're basting it in all kinds of junk, those things are actually problematic. And that's why those headlines were written. But I don't think it's the chicken per se.
So we just have to have boring chicken and we're good.
No, you can have all kinds of teriyaki chicken,
Teriyaki
fun
chicken.
chicken.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can have teriyaki chicken?
Yeah, all kinds of chicken. I love
We're actually
chicken.
going to show you a chicken. We got a great chef coming on, Daniel Boone, who speaks. They have a way of basting chicken. It's actually, you know what it is? It's a slow cooked chicken, but the meat falls off it. It is so good.
Nice. So we will check it
Yeah,
out.
taste it.
And of course,
Love
don't
it.
forget, November 9th, Sheraton Times Square, noon to 4, the free event, the iHeartRadio Lifestyle, Health, and Wellness Fair. Always a good time, and you can get a lot of amazing things from that, including meeting you.
Well,
you
I
know?
love being there. We get to, thousands of people come. It's going to be a blast. So November the 9th, show up.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Oz.
God bless you.
See you on
Congratulations.
TV.
Thank you.
106.7 Lights FM.